I just saw. You don't have the right to go to that poll worker and say, hey, did you see what I just saw? Can you question that? They don't have that right,
You
right?
do not.
Okay.
You could contact the Board of Elections or my office. But you cannot interfere in the operation of the elections at the polling location.
And are they allowed to have cameras or cell phones to record this?
Consult the directive that we issued on that. I don't want to, we're very clear on what those things were. I don't want to try to wing it from the podium here on those particular rules. We have clearly delineated what those rules are, and they have been informed as to what the rules are.
Since there's a good chance that, I'm sorry.
Mark?
There's been some concern raised about whether counties are doing enough to determine the eligibility of a voter, whether someone's registered or not. In some cases, absentee applications are getting rejected as, not registered when the voter is in fact registered. Are you going to issue any kind of standard guidelines or protocol for checking eligibility, particularly when it comes to provisional ballots after the election?
We have standard guidelines for doing that. Our voter rolls are in the best shape they've ever been. As a matter of fact, the most recent information that was made available from the DMV is going to qualify tens of thousands of more voters to vote a regular ballot rather than having them at the wrong address and having to vote a provisional ballot. So this system is as secure and consistent as it's been. But the local boards own this responsibility. This is an administrative role. Whether they search a voter by their first name or their last name is really their judgment. It's not mine. They have their own procedures based on the technology they have that works best for them. We're not going to tell them that they have to do it a new way 5 days before the election. This system is sound. Our voter rolls are in the best shape that they've ever been, and we've had fewer issues with this than we've had in the past.
You're concerned, though, that counties aren't doing enough, all counties
concerned.
at least?
I think the counties are doing an excellent job given the circumstances of new rules being established all the time through lawsuits and all of these other curveballs that have been thrown at them, including all of the things that we've asked them to do to prepare their voter rolls. I mean, the idea that we stand here today with only 4,800 duplicate problems and there are 340,000 4 years ago is evidence that this system is as good as it's been in a long time.
Right, the problem isn't with the rolls. The problem is some kind of human error where whoever's checking, the eligibility of the ballot
I
doesn't see it right or
think
whatever.
I think that the rules are important in that because you have to have accurate information for those to make sure that when you check somebody, that is indeed who it is.
Right.
So frankly, the possibility for human error is no greater in 2012 than it was in 2008. But the technology and the preparation behind it is much better now than it was 4 years ago, and so we're doing better this time than we did the last time.
Wasn't there some kind of glitch in the BMV or something? There's some group reporting, there are hundreds of applications
The
that were
thing that
rejected.
happened is that nobody had done this right in 17 years, and we fixed it. And thanks to the BMV's help, we were able to get the data to help folks get this done. And so, again, that's just another example of how the good work that the local boards and our partners. Look, BMV has certain responsibilities, but a lot of these folks we're asking to do this stuff, they don't work for me. They don't have to do what I'm asking them to do. They're doing it because they care about running a good election system. They care about our state and our democracy, and they're doing a great job. You had a question.
Going back to this issue of the observers and unofficial observers, you're going to have lines out the door at some polling places. How diligent are your poll workers going to be in making sure there's not somebody outside who is trying to intimidate voters, who is claiming people are ineligible, who is in some way kind of trying to skew the process?
Well, there may be cases where there are lines out the doors, but frankly, with the number of people that we have voting early, it's my hope that the potential for that has been diminished. That's why we put early voting in place when I was Speaker of the House, is to try to reduce the lines at the polls on Election Day, and that has been an effective tool at helping to minimize the potential for that. But the rules are very clear. You cannot come within 100 feet of the polling place. And we believe that accommodations are going to be made where voters will not have to be put in that situation. The boards and the local elections officials are aware of those rules, and if we have any reports of those kinds of things, we will act immediately to address them.
Have you heard of any serious problems with the wrong postage on these absentee ballots? People putting like an insufficient amount of postage on the ballots themselves?
To the best of my knowledge, where those situations have occurred, the local boards, in cooperation with the Postal Service, have remedied those.
The numbers that you said you would get on Friday, that are the new totals, I think the last few times that you have released those, it's been a few days lag.
Yeah.
Are we going to see those before Election Day?
We should be able to report those before Tuesday. We will make a special effort to try to get that done. We go about the process of collecting them on Friday. I don't want to promise you that, but because these folks, you know, they have to total them up, and they got a lot of other things going on. They ended up having to do they're going to end up operating on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, which they hadn't planned on having to do before, and so we give them a certain degree of latitude to first make sure that their responsibilities are done, and then this reporting requirement, which is not required of them but appreciated, that they provide that information to us so that we can provide all of you a better picture for what's actually happening out there, and we'll do our best to get that out by Monday.